Space, the final frontier. Space Station Asselin sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Dilamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dilamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek: Preservations.
For her, and
Yeah.
they were like, the ship was not there.
Tobor definitely knows that Eben Thorne is an alias. So the question is whether or not this mysterious USS Penumbra is going to show up or not.
What is currently at Pylon 6?
What is at Pylon 6 is not a spaceship. It is the stellar cartography platform SE-197, the Caliburn, is docked at Pylon number 6. It's an astro-engineering platform doing stellar cartography work using Asselin Station's radio antennas. So it's doing observation work. Yeah, assume now that all of you have met at Pylon 6, you are confronted with what is definitely an observation astro-engineering platform. It's not a warp-class ship. So the three of you meet there.
If you look at the viewport and say, that doesn't look like the Penumbra.
It also does not say Penumbra on the side. It definitely says SE-197 Caliburn.
That would make sense, because I doubt the Penumbra itself actually exists.
Sir?
How much do you know about the development of Epsilon?
Absolutely nothing, sir.
Correct answer.
That's been all kept above my security level.
Well done, Tanari.
Yes. When Pritchard and I were working on the project, we used the codename Penumbra for its development. And from time to time, the Admiral used the alias Eben Thorne when he needed to do more discrete activities. And so seeing his name attached to this event has me thinking that there's something else going on behind the scenes. And who better to help me with that than my resident conspiracy theorist and a Beta Z who can feel what people are feeling.
At that, I'll pull up a pad, connect the isolinear rod that I had the subroutine in, show it to the captain, which has the program in it, which I believe the subroutine had Thorn labeled on it. So we found this in the computer, and it reacts pretty much to nothing, except when we looked into it further, it's supposed to react to a specific file.
What kind of file?
Which point I'll look over to Narilla.
It's very related to the stuff that we saw in the hydroponics with the astral drift files, and for some reason they were switched, and I don't quite understand why.
That sly old fox. He's hiding something, of course. Why do you use a different drift file unless you don't want what you saw there to be there when someone else looks at it?
We have copies of each here, and I can isolate the pad from the station's network.
Let's hold on to that until we get back aboard ship.
I do wonder why he would use aliases that are known by people if he didn't want to draw attention to himself.
Because those aliases are known by people he trusts. So he's leaving us breadcrumbs to find what we need to keep doing our job.
I'll nod out to the platform. From what I gathered, it was this platform that made the drift file.
Let's go check it out then.
There's kind of one of those like extendable catwalks that reaches out to the platform so that you can go ahead and access it. There are station security personnel milling about the area that are curious what you're doing. Captain, lieutenants, lieutenant commander, apologize, I haven't seen the hat pip. They're not unknown to you, and you do know them, but they are like, not your vessels, sir. How may I help you?
Yeah, so we're running down, I'm doing a favor for the commander, running down this program file that seems to have this astral drift file that's been corrupted, and he wants me to, with my background in astrophysics, come and take a look at it and see if it's an isolated file incident or if it's something with the array antenna itself.
Cool. I really want you to make like a command daring roll on this to go ahead and see how well you bullshit him.
All right.
2 difficulty.
2 difficulty. I'm going to spend a point of determination.
I like it.
Because I have 7 lifetimes of experience.
Yeah. Hold on to that thought, though. I think, what was that, sorry?
Can I assist him by blinding them with technical bullshit?
Blind me with technical bullshit, and we'll go from there. What do you mean hypothetically?
Sure, I can't use presence in command?
Daring command specifically is resisting fear or coercion, which you're not really resisting coercion, but they are not your vessel. What's going on? Why would they be asking you to go to this kind of thing? They're not buying your story necessarily, so I'm letting you bid for it to go ahead and see if they actually come around to it.
All right. Well, and then I'm going to use my joined trill ability to get a focus in lying my butt off.
Deceiving security personnel.
Smooth talk.
Smooth talk. I like it. Okay. So your determination gives you 1 success automatically, right?
That's correct.
Yep,
it makes it automatically a 1. And then I roll an 8, which succeeds. So I've got 3 successes.
3 successes so far. Yep. Okay. Might as well roll the assistance. Sorry.
All right. And 11, which succeeds.
Oh, okay. So 4 total. So we'll give you 2 more momentum back. All right, Captain. Which commander was it that you're working for?
It lists off the XO, who was working with Pritchard for all these years.
Okay.
Yeah. Joe doesn't remember his name, but Tobor does.
Yep. Fair enough. We'll just note that in the log then, Captain. Let them know that you requested entrance. Yep. All right. Enjoy. Have fun.
It won't break anything.
Don't take it on a joyride or anything. It doesn't go very fast. You smooth talk your way onto the Caliburn. And as I said, the platform is designed to store far range material that is being downloaded into its processing systems. So it's, if you think about the current observatories and everything like that, they accumulate massive amounts of data and then they download them into computers and those computers process it. This is very much kind of like a processing hub for this information. Looking around it, it's not manned right now. It's literally just, it's like a gigantic server farm, basically, at the end of the day. What would you like to do?
So I'm going to find the main admin terminal and log in, and I'm looking for hidden computer code that has like Pritchard's digital signature, like stylistic signature stuff on it.
Yeah.
Focusing in around on this drift map and anything else related to it. So my goal is to try and figure out what that diagnostic routine and this drift file are like doing without actually like plugging it in and hitting the button.
Sure. You know that Narila found there's a particular file that was corrupted, right? And it was generated by the platform here, so you could certainly pull up that file and see if you understand what the corruption was.
And I'm looking like for the metadata and all of it, like the...
Yep.
Do you want me to take the lead on this since I've got the computer's focus?
So no, I've done my reading, so I'm going to spend my momentum to do that, and then I'll have you and Nerlina. There's 2 terminals. I'm like,
Assist.
by all means, hop in and assist.
So if you look in the shared terminal there, you pull up the file and it identifies that there are some corruptions in the file. It seems like a relatively minor data corruption on the cartographic anomalies in the stellar database. So this is a file that is meant to correct for stellar drift, right? So as you're monitoring a piece of sky, especially over obscenely large distances, there are things that happen with the light frequencies as they come transported, right? So there are all these files here that are basically like, oh, that star is actually supposed to be right there, and otherwise we can't see anything, so it corrects for that, right? But there's a data corruption basically in the starfield map, and it's pointing that out. It's tracking real drift, but there seems to be some sort of a non-natural harmonic modulation pattern encoded into the file here somehow.
We're investigating the nature of that non-harmonic.
Yep.
And trying to figure out what it is, and essentially my guess is what it's hiding.
Yeah.
Is the file name the same one that Narilla found?
It is the same one that Narilla found. Yes. That is the drift file that is mentioned in the protocol code that you found, Tanari.
Let's run it through the code.
Okay. So you'd have to go ahead and basically take this off of the caliber. You have the routine on your pad. Did you want to do it here? Or because I know, Tobor, you had previously said wait till we get back to the ship for it.
What does he do, Lieutenant Commander?
Yeah.
Actually, I'll look over at the captain and say, Captain, this is the file Narilla found. We can run it here. We can run it at the DC.
I want to understand what happened to the file first.
The drift that is identified by the file is real. This is a real stellar phenomenon that the file is capturing, but there seems to be some sort of a modulation pattern encoded into the file, so it doesn't quite line up with expectations. It's almost like it's saying that star needs to be 5 degrees to the right, but it's starting 4 more degrees to the left, so the 5 degrees doesn't line up. Nothing else lines up anymore, even though the drift is right. It's like the base of the file is corrupted.
Can we determine the nature of the file corruption?
I'll certainly let you roll for it.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Yep. Would you like to go ahead and take the lead on this one again, Tobor? Or?
Yeah, I'll take the lead because with the momentum spend for my talent, I get both the focus and the use of my science score.
Nice.
For the department.
I like it. So, excellent.
So reason science.
Yep, I like it. Yeah.
What would otherwise be a reason engineering roll for the computer? And then I've got the
yeah, okay, cool.
Want me to assist again?
Both of you can assist, please.
Yeah, just because you're getting into risky files that who knows who's watching. I'm going to go ahead and spend some threat to increase the complication range on this. So the complication range on this is going to be 18, 19, 20. No. Especially if Tanari is assisting. And probably a 3 difficulty roll on this one because it's getting into some more complicated, base level information on this.
Yeah. Okay, I'll spend a momentum then for the extra die. 6, a 17, and a 5.
Okay, so you barely missed the complication. That's good. So you got 2 successes.
So 2 successes for me.
Okay, so we need 1 more.
Sorry.
Narilla.
Computer focus?
Yeah, this is definitely a computer file, so that would absolutely apply.
And what, maybe control engineering? I don't think we're in daring category.
No, we're not in daring category. Yeah, I guess I can see control engineering or even reason engineering, because you were rolling reason science, right, Tobor?
Yeah.
I like reason engineering, studying and understanding schematics or design something.
All right. That is an 18.
Fantabulous.
Narilla for your assistance as well.
Let's see if you can at least get the other success.
Can I do a reason science, okay?
Tell you what, let me spend a determination.
Can you spend a determination on an assistance?
Hold on, let me double check. Here we are. Determination 261. So for a moment of inspiration, it says you may spend determination on a task roll after the die has been rolled to re-roll any number of d20s in your dice pool. It doesn't specify it as an assist roll, but it doesn't say anything about you having to be the primary person in the task.
I'm fine with you spending a determination to re-roll that. Yeah.
And the value I'm going to tag on this is universe is full of conspiracies. Since we're chasing down a conspiracy.
Yeah, it's way too important to go ahead. You can't let complications get in the way of this. You've got to figure out.
Before that, Dave?
Yep.
So, in theory, what we should do is we should finish the full roll. Then you have your moment of inspiration, and we can re-roll any number of d20s, including mine and Lacey's and yours.
So my determination affects everyone?
Yeah, because you have this moment of inspiration that affects the task.
Gotcha. All right, so I will wait.
All right. Lacey, you wanted to do reason science, you said?
If I can.
Sure, I'm down with that. They could use some help understanding the available data. What's going on? Yeah.
It's match, right? Not. Yeah. Okay.
Beats a beat.
Just made it.
Woohoo. Okay. So you've got your 3 successes, if nothing else. But okay. Ari, do you want to spend your determination then? Because it sounds like you could re-roll your 18, and Tobor, you had a 17. So it was
a 17.
yeah.
I'm
No
going to reroll that
complication,
one
but
too.
yeah. Yep.
All right, so I got a 14, which just hits it.
Okay, so that's another success.
And I've got a 13 success as well.
So 2 more successes. So you get 2 more momentum. So that is a very reasonable determination spend. So let me just make sure that I'm understanding that I'm answering the question that you're asking. You were trying to understand what the base corruption in the file was and what could be done about it?
Ultimately, what I'm looking for is why was this file corrupted? How was it corrupted? And is the corruption hiding something that Pritchard didn't want someone who wasn't one of us to know about?
Yep,
Right.
sure. After like pouring through the file and everything like that, it seems like the corruption probably was done accidentally by an agent as you're like reading the audit log on the file and everything like that. It was just like the dial was set to the wrong position and everything like that kind of thing. And so it would require a subroutine to go ahead and correct the file. It is correctable, and the corruption that you're seeing now is most likely manipulation.
So I'd like to spend my bonus momentum for being patient +1 to create that advantage that we correct it, right?
Yep, I like it. Okay. And Nari has a routine that is calling for this file.
All right, Mr. Sonari, give it a
Okay.
go.
Okay. So you get computer focus. How do you want to do this? Engineering again, but you want to go daring on this one?
Sure thing.
I would call this reckless.
Yeah, fair.
There's been enough conspiracy floating around here that I can see that there's some, what are we actually getting ourselves into? Once again, I'm going to spend 2 threat to increase the complication range. This is another 3 difficulty challenge.
Okay. This is a conspiracy Tanari's going for.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's eager to solve this.
I like it.
So I'm going to spend 1 momentum and 2 threat to get 2 more dice. And I assume the 2 of you are going to assist me?
Yes, but I'm going to attempt to assist you using command, walking you through it.
Yep.
So this is the micromanage assist.
Yep. Command control. You're going to precisely coordinate a group of subordinates.
Yep.
Yep. And Narila, how about you? He's actually running the file through the correction algorithm at this point. How would she assist?
I did see some of the applications of how they switched these in the hydroponics, so I can give insight in that direction on previous attempts or uses of them.
Yep. I like insight engineering then, making an educated guess about based on how you'd seen it previously.
All right. Then I will go ahead and put 1 dice aside for procedural compliance to get 1 success.
I like it. That's 1.
Wow. A 4, a 5, and a 2. So with my computer focus, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. 6 successes with the procedural compliance.
I see.
I was motivated.
Yeah, it's conspiracy. You're getting to the
Yes,
bottom
it
of
is.
Yeah.
I got a 9, so I succeed in my assistance. And because I'm assisting with command, my advisor talent kicks in, so I allow a re-roll if we need it.
Fantastic.
So we're at 7 now.
All right.
A 7. So I also succeeded.
There we go. Fantastic. So no re-rolls necessary unless anybody really wants one to go ahead and.
No,
you get
we're
plenty
good
of
at
successes. I think at 8 successes, I think we're good.
More thing. With the bonus momentum I get for intense,
I like it.
and then with 1 more momentum, I would like to create the advantage, no fingerprints.
Covering your tracks, basically.
Yes.
I like it.
I get a bonus momentum for my species trait.
Yeah, okay.
So that's only 1 momentum spent.
You're like taking the Wi-Fi dongle off the pad and the whole 9 yards. Like, this pad's not touching anything. Cool. All right.
So where are we on momentum real quick, Josh?
5.
So we were at 0 with Tanari's spend, and then we just got 5 back?
You were down to 1 and gained 5, and he just spent 1.
Okay.
All right, you run the Stellar Drift file through the cleanup protocol that's calling for it. It whirs and buzz for a second, and this time the subroutine completes successfully, Tanari. You get a green completion screen that says Drift Matrix accepted, Cipher unlocked, segment 2 of 4 ready, a log file is produced. And it gives you a file path on your pad of caliburn/logs/ebn/.ghost file.
All right, let's look up the file.
Okay. The file is an audio file, and it is a crackly, poorly recorded file. But the message is,
If you're hearing this, I'm either dead, pushed out, or worse. I'm in the open. Again, I do not know what Ebony Knox wants. They trade in shadows, not war. But someone let them in, and it wasn't an outsider. Something is piggybacking on the long-range scans and transmissions. Listening. It's not Federation protocol. In the end, if I go down because of the attack on Asselin Station, or because of my choices regarding the Epsilon protocol, my enemies, they will take any convenient excuse they can get. Don't report in. Don't try to find me. Don't sacrifice yourselves for me. I will reach out to you. Observe, document, and act only when you know who's standing behind the mirror. Your mission, our mission, remains. We are here to preserve what we hold dear. Pritchard out.
All right, then.
Yeah, my antennae are twitching.
Yeah, they are.
So I tap my comm badge. Tobor to Transporter Chief.
Transporter Chief.
Lock onto our signal on the Caliburn array at 3 to beam back to the ship.
Understood, sir. So what do you do with this information?
Essentially, what I'm going to do is we're headed to my ready room.
Yep.
We're going to engage the Epsilon protocol.
Yeah.
Bring
like
DC online. Because there was that back and forth Pritchard and I had where he was like, look, here's this file. You shouldn't read it, but if you need to read it, it'll tell you why you've been isolated from some information so that you can form your own opinions. And I have DC listen to the ghost file and then have him access that file that Pritchard left me. And we listen to what he thinks is essentially going on.
Yeah. And by he, do you mean the
Pritchard.
DC or Pritchard? Yeah. The conclusion that you're reaching is that Pritchard had discovered that there was Ebony Knox influence on Asselin Station just before he got pushed out. And he makes it no bones about in the file that he told you, don't listen to this until you need to, that he was absolutely pushed out. In no way was this voluntary. And he doesn't even think that it's really related to the Epsilon protocol type situations either. He thinks that's very much a convenient excuse, and that he was pushed out because he just kicked over the wrong hornet's nest at the wrong time, because he didn't even really start asking questions. He was just kind of making observations and taking notes. And then all of a sudden he was gone. He'd say in the file that I've gotten really good at knowing when I'm being watched. I'm very familiar with that feeling. And sometimes I can gauge what I do depending on what I want them to see. And he absolutely felt like basically everything that he was doing after a while was being watched very closely. And that as soon as he started to report that there may be non-Federation influences on the space station that were acting in a pseudo-Federation capacity, and he uses that phrase, a pseudo-Federation capacity, that he was gone. He was cut out and a melon baller, just like out. He's not sure what Ebony Knox is doing there. He doesn't know of anybody in the Federation who is nor should be working with them, but that they've got more access than they should, and that they are definitely in some sort of infiltration mode, but he does not know who they're working for. He wasn't able to get that far.
Yeah. Now, am I misremembering? But didn't Shraz have some relative that was disgraced and tied up with Ebony Knox? I definitely remember he has like someone who's a black sheep in his clan that he feels like he has to prove that he's not them.
Sure.
And I feel like it had something to do with the Ebony Nox, but I will confer with Chizilrer when he gets back to the ship.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I pull up the red receipt thingamabob that was sent on the invitation, and I essentially ask DC to run it through like our known ciphers.
Yep.
To see if Pritchard encoded a message in it.
The extent of the message that is coded in it, it's like a cheeky reference. It's almost like Pritchard signed the interception and insertion. The insertion itself probably had like a cheeky little, I see you, Tobor, hey, kind of thing in it to go ahead and identify where it came from.
Okay. I just thought like the insertion of the thorn thing was so obvious that it was like hiding something else.
And that was more done directly to get your attention.
Gotcha.
So,
This is a real outside Hail Mary kind of thing. Do you think it might be worth taking that other message and running it through the protocol?
I appreciate where you're going. You're trying to tie all the threads together. I appreciate that. You've got what you needed from the file.
Gotcha.
So,
I am curious about, it said something about 2 of 4.
Correct.
So what is 1 and 3 and 4 related to? So I asked DC.
Captain, it sounds like there may be other files or messages hidden around the station.
Thank you, DC. That was exactly what I was going to suggest. Asselin Station itself has a variation of your programming of Epsilon protocol, correct?
It does.
Can you talk to the station's Epsilon protocol? Is it as sentiently aware as you are?
No, but I can try to communicate with it. It's not on the same level as I am, but I believe we can work with it.
No, if it was at the same level, I was hoping to enlist it to assist us. But in that absence, can you get into the station's subroutines and try and find these other 3 files?
I can certainly try. Might take some time, though.
We've got as long as we can while we're here.
Sir, I'm eventually due back with the other engineers to continue going over the upgrades to the station. I can certainly give it a shot looking for them as well.
I don't want your fingerprints on this. Josh, remind me if I'm correct. No one here should be cleared for Epsilon protocol anymore now that Pritchard's gone, right?
Correct. Epsilon protocol as a concept is largely being turned down.
I'm hoping that neither Tovek nor our new fleet captain would suspect our sentient computer system is the one conducting the espionage investigation, as opposed to my well-known conspiracy-driven chief engineer, whom I'm sure they have eyes and ears and antenna on you at all times you're aboard station.
At the very least, if I go back aboard station and start...
Nope, go
doing my
back
job.
aboard station and just act normal.
There's
As normal as for you.
I like it.
I can at least be a decoy for the DC.
I appreciate your willingness, but you're too valuable to have you pulled off my ship and thrown into a cell in which your telepathic rights will not be respected.
I am just saying that my simply being there will distract them from the DC.
Maybe, and yes, go like I said, go back and engage with the other engineers, but be completely above board. Don't.
Of course. I'm the soul of discretion.
Oh my god, we're all going to end up in prison.
Thank you for joining us for another thrilling episode. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of Star Trek Preservations. Don't be away just yet. Here comes the reputation rolls.
I love where this is going. Let's go into our reputation rolls because I think that there could be some very interesting revelations in this. Positive influences. Let's start with the first one. Do you think that your mission was successful? How would you have defined, given where this went, what your missions were?
The first and foremost mission was to attend the promotion ceremony.
Correct. And then to accomplish various other tasks. Cirilla, you were assigned to go ahead and go to the hydroponics lab to go ahead and help out there. Tanari, you were assigned to go ahead and help with the engineering. So I would say that on face value, your missions were successful. You went and pressed the flesh. You went and did the things. Those were successful.
And I would say our secret mission was successful as well.
It depends on who the boss on your secret mission is and whether or not that would be successful or not. But that's a whole separate issue. Anyway, did you positively use one or more of the mission's directives? They didn't really come into play, I don't think. But
no, and again, when you use a directive, that means you've used it as the trigger for your determination spend.
Yep, fair enough. No. All right, did you obey the orders given to you by your superiors?
Yep, I showed up and pressed the flesh.
Despite the temptation, I did.
So, how do you think Fleet Captain would want you to respond to receiving a message from your previous boss in secret?
I'm sure he would want me to report it immediately, but as he clearly indicated, Pritchard is no more. So he's very efficient and by the book and doesn't want any outside extraneous things. So until I have something real to bring him, I'm not going to waste his precious time with this inefficient cloak and dagger nonsense.
He's also very much by the book, and he has not given our captain an order to bring him this information.
I think that it would probably be understood that a potential revealing of espionage aboard the station would be worth reporting. I'm going to say no to that one.
All I have is one corrupted log file.
All right, you know what?
It's a suspicion. And if I did have something that had enough proof to it, I would likely take it to him.
Yeah.
If for no other reason this is the first time to see how he responds to something like this.
I like where you're going. So here's what I'm going to do. I would like you to give me a naked 20 roll, just one d20 roll, and I want you to add whichever discipline you think would be most appropriate in this situation to try to convince yourself that it is not yet time to go to the fleet captain.
Yeah, I would be command.
I like it. So roll a d20, add command, tell me what the number is.
17 plus 5, 22.
Okay. You should have at least been preparing a report, and it seems like you are keeping this information to yourselves for now. So I'm going to say no to that one for now.
This is where we're just ending this portion of it.
Totally fair. Yeah, totally fair.
How about for the rest of us? I believe the rest of us did obey commands.
That's a fair observation, Tanari. You did report to your commanding officer.
And Narilla did as well.
Narilla did as well. So Yep. I would say that this is one of those situations where Captain Tobor doesn't get the influence, but you reported your information to your commanding officer. Sorry, Tobor. Heavy as the head.
Yep.
I did not jump in and run the protocol without asking him first.
You absolutely did not. And as much as you wanted to hit the big red shiny button, did hold off. Yeah. Let's see. Did you prevent combat from occurring? Yes, that's fine. Did you establish common ground or peaceful cooperation with those who were newly encountered and previously hostile to you? You know what, Tobor? I will give you that one. You tried. You certainly tried to. And whether or not you were received well by the NPCs in the promotion ceremony or not is not necessarily your fault. So I will say you certainly did try on that. And Tanari and Narilla, certainly you did that as well. So that's fine. Did you directly contribute to the saving of lives of innocent people?
That doesn't really apply.
Nope. And did you take all reasonable action to render aid to those in urgent need or distress? I don't think there was any urgent need or distress really encountered. So I'm going to say a no on that one also.
I've got 4.
You got 4 and Tobor's got 3?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Negative influences. Was your mission a failure? No. Did you challenge one of the mission's directives?
Nope.
Nope. Were you disobedient to your superiors? I'm not going to say yes to that one. You weren't disobedient. You maybe didn't follow orders, but you weren't disobedient. There's definitely a gray area in between there that I think you're sitting in. Were personnel under your command killed? No. Did you employ force to any ends other than the defense? No. Did you employ lethal force? No. Any unnecessary risks during the mission?
I don't think so.
They were necessary, all of them.
So that's the question, right? Was running an obviously hidden script, was that an unnecessary risk? Were there further precautions that you could have taken to identify whether or not that was the safe thing to do or not?
We did pull it off the
He did.
system. We
Yeah.
isolated it in the pad.
I think that's the one thing that will save you, Dave, is that when you pulled out and said, I am absolutely isolating this, I'm buying the trait. You spent the momentum and bought the trait. That buys you the yes here.
That, and it's a secret. There's a conspiracy out there. It had to get found out. There is no risk that is unnecessary.
Yep, that's fair.
That's my value talking.
I like it. Let's see. Did you cause or allow through inaction innocent lives? No innocent lives have been lost. Did you lie, cheat, threaten, or coerce others to achieve objectives during the mission?
You kind of the security guys.
Yeah, you lied to the security guys. You absolutely lied to the security guys. Yep. Okay, so that's a yes.
Is that a yes for all of us? Did that? So
Yeah. You're all in on that little lying boat there. And did you permit a colleague or subordinate to act unethically or illegally during the performance of their duties?
I think neither. So the lie, I don't think was unethical because it was in the service of finding this greater truth that came out. Now, if it turned out to be like Pritchard's like home cooking recipes without this action, it was a white lie. I didn't do anything illegal.
That's fair. You did not do anything illegal. You did throw somebody else's name saying that you were working for somebody else, which crosses that line, I think, when you're saying, oh yeah, I'm working for Joe. Joe wants me to go do a thing. You kind of lied your way onto the ship by using his name. And if anybody...
I totally get for the lie, cheat, or threaten.
Yeah, I'm trying to wonder if this is a double dip or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think there's enough done for either one of those questions to be a yes, but probably not.
I think I'm with you on that one too. So just difficulty 1.
All right. So my 3 dice, I'll start. So I have a 7 plus my reputation of 5. So it's a 12.
Yep.
Is the number I'm looking for. I've got a 4, an 8, and a 7. So 4 successes, difficulty 1. I have 3, which I succeed by 3. So I generate 3 points of acclaim.
I like it.
So gain a favor would be 2 if the NP is an admiral, general, or whatnot. So the new fleet captain, would that count as like that level of 2 points to get a favor?
Yeah, because he's your commanding officer, so I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
So favor from the new fleet captain.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
It says with renown comes the attention of others. Like he is starting to form an opinion that I'm not just Pritchard's underling.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
So then I have one more. I'll commend that to Tanari.
Okay. This counts as 1 extra positive influence for you, Tanari.
All right, so my reputation is 4, so that's makes my difficulty 11.
Yep. So you get 1 extra die, so you get 5 die.
And I have a difficulty of 1 because of the 1 negative.
Correct.
What's the criticals? It's anything less than our reputation?
Equal to or less than your reputation.
Okay. Wow. I had a really good roll.
Fire tonight?
I had a 12, which is a failure, an 8, a 2, a 4, and a 1. The 2, 4, and 1 are all criticals.
So 7?
7, yeah.
Which is reduced by 1, so you have 6 points of acclaim.
All right.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to increase my reputation to 5. That takes me 5 points.
5 points. So it leaves you with 1.
Which I will pass down to Narilla.
Okay. So 1 commend to Narilla. All right, Narilla. So I think you also now get 5 die. What's your current reputation?
4.
So your difficulty is 11. You have a difficulty of 1, and you get 5 die.
I also got a crazy roll.
Okay. Crazy good.
But yeah, I rolled them 1 at a time, so I'm just like watching it unfold. So I rolled 5, 3, 1, but then I got a 20.
But it doesn't matter.
And then a 4.
And you've got a reputation of 4, right? Because anything that's 4 or less counts as double.
Yeah, so, the only time the 20 really matters is if you are getting a reprimand.
If you reputation roll.
Right.
So what'd you roll again, Lacey?
I rolled a 1, 3, 4, and 5.
So 7.
-1 for 6?
For 6, yep.
Yep, okay. 6 acclaim.
Can I increase my reputation?
Yep.
Your current reputation is 4, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
What benefits does that have?
So you would have exemplary record including numerous commendations and decorations for acting above and beyond the call of duty. You are the finest that Starfleet has to offer, and you are given greater discretion in how you carry out your other duties, is what a reputation means within Starfleet.
Do I need to? I think I've taken 2 awards. Is that acceptable?
Yeah.
Or highly decorated?
No, you're just covered in acclaim.
Yeah. Is there anything that you can do with one? Let's see. So you could gain favor by an NPC. So do you want to gain favor of the person that you were working with in the hydroponics lab?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with the 1 remaining point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. There you go. I was going to say, you could also, instead of boosting your reputation, you could have also taken a promotion. You could have gone from lieutenant to lieutenant commander.
That's too fast. I did that, I think, last time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can't be just like skipping ranks and then someone's going to want to take me down because I got too greedy.
That's fair.